All right, people, what's going on, man? It's Jelani Hashim Bracy. This is your CEO of your favorite nonprofit, Black to Life, back again for a little impromptu uh, discussion on Black liberation. This is Juneteenth, and this is the celebration of June 19th, 1865, when the remaining enslaved African people of America were informed by the Union Army that slavery was actually over. Now, slavery had actually been signed into law by the Emancipation Proclamation in January of 1863, but as you know, word travels kind of slow, especially when it's coming to somebody that you don't want to have the news. It's going to travel at least 2 years. Uh, so they didn't find out, our brothers and sisters in Texas didn't find out to June 19th today, 1865. So we celebrate that day as our Independence Day, as the Black Independence Day. And right now with us, I have Amadi. He is our financial guru of Black to Life. Is actually we actually have a Financial Fridays where he discusses finances in the Black community and how to increase them and just how to be educated on finances and just really financially literate. So that's a very important product that Black to Life actually endorses. So he's in charge of that. So I want to welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, man. So let's get to it. So man, like last night, we had all the brothers of Black to Life. We had everybody except for you. So right now we just want to get your take on, man, really we can get into Juneteenth later. We're gonna talk about Black liberation, but like just man, how you feeling about, just everything going on and just as a brother out here on this grind, man, how you feel about it?
Man, is really crazy, everything that's going on, but we're not surprised at any of it, right? It's kind of a repeat as far as the actual events. So we're not surprised by it, but we do want change and we got to see where that's going to go. So that's definitely where you see everybody like protesting and making these new actions. We want to see that output. We want to see that result in the shortcoming. We don't have time to wait years and decades again, because I mean, really, these events have been going on for the last couple years and decades. So we, at this point, what I see in the streets is people just tired. People are just tired of the same old, and we want to see real change real fast, or eventually, or we got to see some steps of progress. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. So what do you think progress looks like? So all right, the whole thing was. I'm gonna just give you my take before when the whole thing was when Obama was President Barack Obama was elected. That hey man, we're in a post-racial society. Everything is gonna be everything. It's gonna be all right, man. We didn't, you got out that slave thing, and now you got a black president, so everything's gonna be all right. And as we can see from his 8 years, I'm not gonna relitigate anything during his 8 years. We all know what we saw. And during that 8 years, and now as we're seeing what's going on now, we know that we haven't come as far as we thought. Right. Yeah, we may not see as many brothers and sisters swinging from trees, but they still are.
Right.
Literally swinging from trees. Like just found a number of them this week, last week. Like it's still happening. We're getting shot down in just rampant numbers by the police, just by random citizens exhibiting vigilante violence. Yeah. So I've never. I have a problem with the notion that we have progress, because I don't understand what the measurement of progress is. The bar is too low. For example, if I take your $5 away from you, you got $5, and I just take it from you and I give it back to you, I didn't give you $5.
Right. You
That
just
was your
gave me back,
$5.
you gave me back what you took. You gave me,
And then I mean it's your $5. I never
right,
had to give it.
right,
I took it, but it wasn't never mine to take. So with that freedom thing, you never had it to take away. You put in laws and policies to restrict what I could do and what my people could do, but you could never take freedom away because it was never yours to give.
right.
So by people saying something about like uh it's good that slavery is over. This, we had a black president. That's the minimum. Like, why can't we have a black president? What about black people? You
Yeah,
don't think we can be the president of the United States? Like, that was your arbitrary and your imaginary little BS line that you made up, like
right.
that we couldn't do anything. So when we step into who we actually are, and we're excelling in this and we're excelling in that because opportunities are granted, that's not progress.
That
That's the starting line.
right,
Like, we were human, now we're getting treated like human.
right. Or
Quote
some of us
unquote.
are being treated like human. Not all of us, but some of us, right?
Yeah, and it ain't enough of us that are getting treated like human to quell the
Right,
anger that you're seeing out in these streets. Because
right.
the majority of the people that's out here in these streets are under constant attack and a constant reminder of what America really is to the
And I
black
think
man,
that's exactly the
the
point.
black woman too.
Like I think sometimes an event happens and then you see this uproar and people want to point to the event no matter what it was or what it is, and they want to say like, if you guys are going to really burn down the city over one black life, because that's kind of what they try to minimize that, but it's not really just that one event. It's the epitome of all these other events, all the ones that didn't make the news, all the things that you've heard about with your friends or your family. And that event just, it
It's
expounds
Breonna
it,
Taylor.
it makes it
Breonna
explode in your
Taylor's,
face.
yeah,
But
it's
it's
Breonna
not
Taylor's,
about that one event.
right.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad,
about
my
the
bad.
everyday attack that you have to face. That's what, and after a while, it's a boiling point. Like I live here in Maryland, and a couple years ago, Freddie Gray and all of that, and people that don't live in Maryland or not familiar with Baltimore are shocked, and I'm not. Because I know what goes down in Baltimore. I know what type of things that the average black person or average resident in Baltimore deal with. And it's not that I justify, but I understand. And it's like some people can't even understand like why people are doing the things that they're doing or why they're reacting the way they're reacting. But it's not their fault of how they're reacting. It's something's being done to them first, you know?
Yeah, man. I'm going to bring like science into this equation, man. Newton's law of motion. Every action has an opposite and
Right.
equal reaction. Why do you think that comes different when you dealing with racism, when
Right.
you dealing with oppression, when you dealing with mass incarceration, when you dealing with people that are tired? Why do you think that same barometer of force does not exist? And that's where people miss the mark.
Yeah.
It's it's too much of pointing out the actual
That one event.
yeah, the reaction to everything, it's pointing out to the reaction
Right.
instead of what's actually going on. So that's the crazy part, man. It's like you see what's going on, and everybody can sit here and say we have inequities racially in a myriad of categories,
Mm-hmm.
a myriad of categories. So when when you see that, the question is never asked, let's stop this. It's always you should react to it this way.
Right.
Like there is a certain way to react to being violently accosted. Like there is no blueprint for that. So that's the part that people need to understand. Like that's why all this is burning. Like you may not agree with it, you may have a problem with it, but it's gonna happen, man, because the underlying fact, your house will always crack if your foundation is messed up. The foundation of this country is messed up, so it's gonna always have its problem until we address what that foundation or crack is.
Right.
So, somebody, hey man, somebody just asked to join. Let me see who it is.
Well, let them join then.
Damn, this is Jasmine Webb.
Oh, I know Jasmine.
You know Jasmine?
Yeah.
Well, Jasmine is joining.
You put her on? I can't see her.
Yeah, it says
coming?
joining. So
okay, got to get that internet connection to go together.
Yeah, Morrica Ashby just came on to the whole concept of individuals assuming only blacks are rioting when in reality,
Morrica to join up, man.
Yeah, she could come on. In reality, it's those of the opposite race who incite them. Yeah, that's that's one. Oh, Jasmine went off. I guess she didn't come back. Yeah. Morrica, that is one thing that they want to maximize and try to marginalize and underestimate our movement. Mm-hmm. Like the movement has always been freedom, and you can tell they underestimate and marginalize it just think about what we've been taught, man, over the years. Just think about the 4th of July. And we've always talked America got its freedom, and that was true. America did get its freedom.
I didn't get my freedom though.
That's what they fail to tell you. They never put Americans. They put if you ever listen, and I remember being taught this, if you ever listen to somebody teach like American, it's always the country got its freedom. Right. So the country is an actual entity. America got its freedom. So who stood for America? Property owning white males. Right. Got their freedom. They got the freedom to own their own property and do as they please in their own country. That's what the freedom was about. And that wasn't attributed to us, but the cultural conditioning that's just been happening, it starts as soon as you get in school, man. As soon as you get in school, cultural conditioning starts. Yeah. But it's up to us to liberate ourselves. And the first place you gotta liberate yourself is your mind, man. Because we are culturally conditioned to think certain ways. Because if you've never been told nothing else, then you'll always think something else. Like you're not gonna do better until you think better. Right. You're not. And we were talking about last night the actual beginning of an African American, like what that actually came from, and that came from the actual devastation and the genocide of the Native and Aboriginal people here, and the actual forced importation of the Africans in 1619 that were brought here on slave ships. The bar was set for America then, even though America wasn't America until 1776. The bar was set for what this land was going to be and who it was going to be for. And once they set that land up, that is why the internal struggle is here today. It's a cognitive dissonance, because even though blacks have excelled, we Africans have always excelled, even in the direst of circumstances, even as being enslaved, even as being everything taken from you. You were still able to read. We were still able to read. We were still able to write. We were still able to communicate. We were still able to be strong and to push ourselves and to come to this day. It's a cognitive dissonance in this country where they can't see that, because this is not what we deemed for y'all. This is not the plan. It was never the plan for us to ever be incorporated in life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So in that plan, when they see a breach in that plan, that's why you get the Tatiana Jeffersons. That's why you get the Breonna Taylors. That's why you get the Sandra Blands. That's why you get Alton Sterling. That's why you get Philando Castile. That's why you get George Floyd. That's why you get Mr. Rayshard Brooks. Like, that's why you get all of these fallen soldiers, man. Tamir Rice,
Right.
Trayvon Martin. Like when you Ahmaud Arbery, and when like vigilantes just think that they have the right to attack.
They do whatever. They do whatever. No no consequences. No, like, what's going to happen to me? Nothing. Maybe I get maybe I get arrested 3 months from now. I get released the next day. Maybe I go to court and face some charges, but ain't no convictions. Ain't no, ain't no real output. Really, have we seen? No. And all these, what have we seen on the other end? We haven't seen any real justice, any real change. No.
No, and that's why, like it don't, I'm. It's like we almost lost some steam with
Yeah.
George Floyd when they arrested the officers and charged them, and then here they come with Mr. Brooks. That's my point. It's
But
like
even before we back up real quick, even before we got done with Mr. Floyd, what they start saying, oh, he had corona. Oh, he had another
oh
condition.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, 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 yeah.
so it's always that. You see that undercard that always comes, and then you
Yeah.
have the medical examiner doing what he or she did. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like they already playing out what we can already see it coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, is it going to be a murder conviction, or is it going to be accidental? You know what I'm saying? They've already planted those seeds already, and that's what the media always does, and that's the systemic part of the whole situation.
Yeah, and I think as Black to Life, as leaders and people in the community, and anybody else that's in the community that feels like they have a voice, man, like we can use our platforms to inform and to tell our side. Like it's always been there, but it's time that everybody, I think, uses their voice. Everybody
Yeah,
uses their platform because everybody can do something, but a lot of people just don't do nothing.
right.
Like everybody can do something, man. Like with us, with Black to Life, right? Like we wanted to attack the literacy, the literacy component that was linked to mass incarceration. There are a lot of components that are linked to mass incarceration, but we saw that literacy was a big one, and we saw
Right.
that literacy was one that we could attack and actually add value to, actually add access to. So that's what we decided to do. And to date, like I said, we've given out more than 1,000 books to include 18 what 18 cities and 14 states and 3 international
Thank
spots:
you. Yeah.
Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, and we also were in Nigeria,
And
so
Haiti, so that's four.
Haiti. So that's 4. So yeah, I think anybody, it's just and thanks to our network, our Black to Life ambassadors. Without y'all, we couldn't have been in those cities. So we don't go. Just in case people didn't know, Black to Life is a board is a 5-member board, 501c3 organization. But we have ambassadors in different cities, and thank you to those ambassadors able to get us to those 18 cities in those 14 states. So without their bandwidth, without their reach, we wouldn't be able to have done the 50,000
Right.
we have done. And also our people in Haiti, Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, and Nigeria, we want to thank you too as well.
Right.
Because without the people, we wouldn't be anywhere. So when I said that to say it's up to us to change and to liberate ourselves.
Yeah.
And it starts in the mind.
So with that said, I think one of the things I saw pivoting, like right around what after Mr. George Floyd, I started to see like a couple of like Facebook groups and things of that nature coming together, Black Coalition, things of that nature, where people are starting to say like we got to band together to not only protect ourselves but to empower one another, to share resources, to buy from one another. All
Yeah,
these components that can really uplift the Black community as a whole started to kind of formulate in these last couple of weeks, kind of, the pivot being George Floyd. So that's a good outcome, but how long or how deep is that going to be? How deep is that going to be carried out, right?
yeah,
So what I'm saying, like I started to see more people like reach out to other people with a more trusting to their fellow black man. For whatever reason, we have that thing in our head where you can't trust another black person when it comes to business or something like that. So we're starting to break down a couple of these barriers, and moving forward, I see some progress.
Yeah, well that comes from just cultural conditioning.
Yeah,
If you've never had if you were always told that black was this and black was that, like you gotta think about when I remember being taught about uh African, and nothing good I was taught came from Africa. All I heard was I actually heard that slaves came from Africa. That's what you were taught. Like you were taught like they tried to use Native Americans, but they knew the land better when they got sick too. They tried to use indentured servants, indentured white people, but they couldn't stand the heat, they couldn't stand the work. So and they got sick too. So they went and brought Africans and enslaved them. But that's not how it was told. It was said slaves came from Africa. So in the child's head, what you think? You think oranges come from a what? Like if you say oranges come from a tree, you're gonna look at that tree and think, oh, that's a orange tree. So if you think slaves come from Africa, you're gonna think, oh, Africa is full of slaves.
right.
Like, that's what you thought. And you ain't never. We never would talk. Egypt was taught like it was somewhere else. No, seriously, man. Egypt was taught like it was actually another place. Like the great Egyptians. They were called the great Egyptians of the Nile, all that. Africa was rarely, but it was thrown in. Like, yeah, all you gotta do is really look on a map and see Egypt in Africa. But the way it was taught and just pushed to you.
Presented. The way it's presented. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the white Jesus. The way it was presented is this. Look at this. But if you actually read what they say Jesus looks like, he looks like nothing. And I'm not to go religious or anything, but that was just a parallel to what's being told and what's actually down.
Right.
And all you had always, and me, I'm talking about me, all I had to do was look at the map. But it really, Egypt was glorious. All the King Tut, all the gold, all the pyramids, but it sounded like it was somewhere totally different because slaves came from Africa, so it was never a correlation to Africa being great. So that's where African American starts. Like your genesis in America started as subservient. So as that history, that's what you go back to. You know, that's why I think people get confused with African American history and Black history. Like they're two different things. And I think Black is an experience.
Yeah.
It's not a color. It's not a nation. Like it's an experience, and in the Black experience links the whole African diaspora, which is all the Africans that were displaced during the transatlantic slave trade. Even before that, in the 1400s, when our African brothers and sisters were getting dropped off in the Caribbean to do was it sugar cane?
Yeah,
sugar cane.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like what you say about the Black experience because it is vast, right?
Yes, like, it is.
You know what I'm saying? It's not really explained that way, but it is vast. Like all Black people, we have different experiences. We have some similar experiences, but we do have different experiences, and then we need to talk about and learn from those experiences to better ourselves and better understand each other first, and then we can have that collectiveness when because different Black people, we are different. We all group together when the cop stops you.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? But we do have different experiences, different things to share with one another.
Yeah, we all do. And that's why I got that reasoning from a brother that I talked to in New York. He was I think he's from Kenya.
Yeah.
But he was just telling me like he had never heard of African American before in his life.
Well, if he's from Kenya, when is he gonna learn? When is he gonna hear that? Until he gets over here. When are you gonna hear that?
Right. And he said when he got off here, because he said over there, it's like, you just Black, man. You just Black. And he said, you Black. And then I was like conflicted because I was like, man, you spoke with so much conviction because you know exactly where you're from. Like, I wish I could just know that like that's I envy that. I'd be like, man, I wish I just knew. And the brother just said, hey man, just go. He
Yeah,
said, don't worry about where you from, man. He said, just go.
yeah.
He said, just pick a place. He said, pick a country and go. You black, man. You gonna
Or
be
pick two
loved.
or three of them. Take a whole tour. I don't know.
That's what he said. So I want you to that was my experience. I want you to expound on your like, do you agree with that sentiment that black actually unites all of us and as an African?
I do because I don't like the term African American either. I never was really comfortable with that. I'd rather just call black as black. That
Yeah.
yeah. Like we all come from an origin of Africa, right? Maybe by way of the Caribbean, and you might have this and that mixed with, but if you're a black, period, your origin is somewhere in Africa. Now, you might not know where that is, and that's something that would actually help you identify and fill in some gaps to actually know that, to visit that. You'll feel a sense of fulfillment if you can actually, experience that, I feel like. So, and actually there's some other cultures, like for instance, Israel, I believe, they have some type of they have a trip that they give like between you're like 18 and 25 or so. They actually sponsor a trip from the United States back to Israel for like 2 or 3 weeks, where they want you to, experience Israel. And maybe us as black people, we need something like that to actually bring us together so you can further better understand where you're really, really from, not where you're just living. It's a difference.
Yeah, because you can read about it. I think right now, with Google Books, shoot, people like now is the time, man, to it's been the time, but really now it's really a lot of people. I think it's Morrica right here. There's a lot of people that are on the bandwagon right now of what's going on.
Some of them will follow. They ain't worried about them.
So Morrica?
Hey y'all, y'all doing all right?
Hey. Oh yeah. So we were just talking about basically, Black liberation on this Juneteenth. This happy Juneteenth to everybody too.
It's good to be black on today.
Yeah. And I'm actually celebrating as a happy hour. So don't mind me. So don't mind me.
See, we got different black people. You gotta love it, right? What you drinking anyway? You gotta love it.
Oh, it's 1738 miles.
That's a very black drink.
I am a very black guy.
Yeah, okay.
But
Morrica, where you at? How's everything?
I'm in Memphis. Everything's pretty good.
Okay.
The protests are kind of slowed down. The numbers here kind of slowed down. But it's still black.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, we got a protest tomorrow in Dallas at Clyde Warren Park, everybody. We're going to be in Dallas at 2 p.m. and we're going to march to City Hall. So we're going to Clyde Warren Park. We're going to have some speakers, some performers. Y'all want to come out there, man, and just disrupt this. It ain't peace. We're going to disrupt what they think is normal because it cannot continue to go on as it has. And it can't. So there is no going back to normal. Like, I ain't even talking about the face mask. No, I'm just talking
normal
about.
was never normal. Normal was just being obedient to what the oppressors wanted. So let's not.
That's true, and that is true. I have been corrected. That wasn't normal. That was actually abnormal and asinine. And I have a question, and I've asked this like into my head seriously, like, we're how are we so the definition of being crazy is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
That's insane, not crazy.
That's insane.
Insanity, yeah.
Are we insane as a people? Because all of us expect to be treated as humans. We expect to be treated as 100% citizens of this nation. We expect to have the protection of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But in the 400 plus years, and I'm gonna go back to what MM said, we kind of do a disservice when we say 400 plus. Let's say the 60s. My mama, grandparents, all of them, like that was That's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So, and we're seeing the same thing today. Are we insane?
Actually, I don't have that expectation. I don't have that expectation. So it would be nice, but I don't actually have that expectation. Just like when I was talking about when when a cop does a black man or a black woman or whatever, I don't have the expectation that he's going to actually have justice served. I don't have that expectation. I want him. That's what I hope for, but I don't expect it. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference. So I don't know. Like there might be I don't know if it's the minority or majority of the people who think like that. That's what you ought to have in America, but you almost are insane because that doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. I don't know where you live that you would actually see that play out, and you would think that that's how it's going to actually go out. So I don't have that expectation.
And I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I think the majority of us do have the expectation because
You have that hope. It might
I'm
have
gonna tell
that
you why
hope.
I'm gonna tell you why I think it's an expectation though, because we drive cars, we go to different spaces that put us in that and it's crazy. It puts us in that scenario where it could be a live and die, and that's just getting in your car driving. You know what I'm saying? So I do expect to be going home and to come back. I do expect that. I expect to go to a restaurant and be served like a human being. I expect that shit. So it is gonna throw me off if I don't get it. But now, what I'm not is surprised. I ain't surprised if it don't happen, but I damn sure expect it. Because I
You
wouldn't go out.
deserve it. You deserve it in all 50 states, up and down. But if you over here, over there, sometimes maybe you don't expect it. That's just me.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. We haven't seen justice be served on many levels and in many times in many different situations. And so, not that it's like expected, but I have faith that it actually happened, whether it actually happens or not, with or without my expectations. But I do hope for it. I want it to happen, but it may not always come to as we assume.
Right.
So, do you think you're insane for that hope? Because they say hope is futile, and in these situations we've seen, it's like, I mean, we constantly just
If you don't have any hope, then I don't know what else I don't know how you could function without at least any hope. So I would hope that nobody ever feels hopeless, because that's really when you're defeated. If you don't think that there's any possibility at all of success, that you might as well give up and go home.
Well, I think that's why America is burning. It's people that feel like they ain't got no hope. Like they really feel like ain't nothing gonna change.
The Breonna Taylor case really kind of scared people because it's the simple fact that you can be at home in bed asleep with your family and still be attacked, profiled, and murdered. So it's like, where do you actually, you do feel hopeless because I could be doing absolutely nothing, not even moving my body. I'm
added to the list.
Yeah.
Can't drive, can't sell Lucy cigarettes, can't jaywalk, and now you can't sleep.
And let's not be remiss of Aiyana Jones, that was 7 years old in 2010 in Detroit, that was shot in the head in her grandma's house when they went to the wrong house again. And she would be graduating. Her and Tamir Rice would be graduating this. No, not. I think she would be. That was 10 years ago. Yeah, she was 7, so she'll be 17. So she'll be graduating this year.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, true that. So yeah, this young lady, her name was Aiyana Jones. Aiyana Jones, man, shot in her grandmother's house on a no-knock. They going through the wrong house again, and nothing happened to the police. It was 2 hung juries. 2.
Who be on these juries?
Taxpayers.
Who?
Census people.
Who? Like, why don't they call me? Because we're not going to be hung for nothing.
Never been called. I ain't never been called.
People can never put themselves in the other person's shoes to say, what if that was me on a regular day doing my regular things and I happen to be the one in front of the bullet that got hit instead of behind and pulled the trigger on it. And it's like the fact that they never put themselves in the shoes of the person or individuals who got treated like they were mistreated or misprofiled, it's like you feel kind of privileged. And that just goes back with the cultural condition. Like, you know, you probably won't be in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they certain people do believe that they won't be in them situations.
Is it crazy to expect that the things that happen to Black people won't ever happen to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So the question is, are we talking about Black liberation? We got many questions, but since we're talking about Black liberation, because this is the day that all Black people were liberated, all African people of descent, all people of African descent were liberated June 19th, 1865. So what do you see us now? Like, do you really feel liberated? Do you really feel free in this country? Like, do you?
Only somewhat.
What you mean by that?
Only somewhat, because you can't 100% move freely. You can't 100% act like anybody else. You know that in certain situations you gotta act a certain way to survive that situation. If the cop pulls you over, you can't say, what the heck, you can't go off on him because he pulled you over for nothing. But your buddy across the street might, but you see what I'm saying? So you just feel like in certain instances you do have to fit into a box just to survive. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. If Jelani, you and I, we have sons that are young, right? 10, 12 years from now, you will have different talks with them than their little buddy Jake. You know, you got to be, as you get bigger, as you get, you fit a profile of, you look masculine and all these other things. You have to be self-aware of certain how you're going to be perceived by others, right? You know, I think you guys were talking about that with Kenny yesterday. He has one of his sons 6'3", right? So he's all automatic, just because he's 6'3", he's perceived as a threat, and then he's Black. Like, these are things that he can't change. He has to be aware of these things as he walks through life. For the rest of his life, he has to, and that's even his father's job to actually make himself aware of those things if he's not.
So do you even, I mean, from what you just said, it just seemed like, it does seem like, why even try? Like, what is there, I've thought about, like, bringing children to the world, and when I did, it was like, man, what did you bring them into? Not like I don't want them to be here, but it was just like, what have you done? You know what I'm saying? So I feel an obligation to change their whole trajectory and how they're gonna move through life.
Right.
They didn't ask to be here.
Right.
I brought them here. So now it's on me to take care of them and make sure they're gonna be straight. Because they don't know nothing but what I did, what I tell them. You know what I'm saying? What we show them, what me and the mother show them. So it's just like, that's what it is. And my obligation as a father is to try to get my children through life with as much information and as much guidance that I can give them as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that means, hell, ain't no limit. Like, I got it, so give it to them. Why not? Like, let them know everything they can. And I don't know, man. My son's 5 now, so is it ever too early? Is it ever too early? Because I don't want to be 6 and somebody call him a nigga, and then he got to ask me that, and it's like a shocker. You know, I ain't saying that's gonna happen, but I've heard people's stories, like, they were 6 or 7 and got called a nigga. Like, damn. Like, my shit didn't come till later in high school. You know what I'm saying? I was never elementary and, like, experienced that word. I couldn't imagine what would man. I couldn't imagine that. But go ahead, Rick.
How do you feel about Elmo addressing racial discrimination? Have you seen the video?
No, I didn't see it, but I heard it. I heard it was good. I heard it was good. I'm just gonna be, and this is from me what
As
I know of
a parent,
Sesame Street, huh?
as from a parent's perspective, I want to know how you feel about your child just being able to see something like that.
Yeah, I would look at it with him. I would look at it with him, but I trust Sesame Street because I grew up on Sesame Street. I've seen my son. Like I get down with Sesame Street. Like they brought a lot, you know what I'm saying? They've always had black people, Hispanic people. I've always seen, I ain't never seen color on, you know what they say, I don't see color. I ain't never seen color on Sesame Street. I just saw Sesame Street. Like, so I can Mr. Rogers was cool. I couldn't get when he went to make believe, man. That was kind of crazy. Anyway. But everything else was cool. When he went on that choo choo train, I was like, man, what y'all doing? Anyway, but yeah, Sesame Street PBS, yeah, all good. I would trust them to address it more than I would, I guess, like PJ Masks and Nickelodeon or something like that, SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't think I would trust SpongeBob to address racial discrimination. Even though SpongeBob is on like an adult level that's an adult level cartoon. I don't think they're equipped to address racial discrimination in no kind of way. I think SpongeBob
what do y'all feel about these companies that have been trying to address, like everybody has a statement about racial injustice and then, oh, I made this donation. What do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like it's genuine or not?
It's not genuine. The school I graduated from did that, and just based on the stuff that the president has said, it was all in light of recent events, in light of George Floyd. It's not like they ever addressed the fact that racial discrimination has been going on for years, and it's not something that's new. Y'all make it sound like, oh, it's just happened. Oh, people are being racist all of a sudden. No.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that's what happened?
Man, let me. because I'm torn because I really do appreciate like all the acceptance of our blackness, of our culture. I enjoyed it, but it's a story I've seen before. Right. I always love what we do. They always get on it. You always want to be like, and when I say they, I mean American culture. I mean the systemic culture of white supremacy in America always jumps on our bandwagon when it's, hey, it's okay to do it. But then
are they gonna stay?
We do it out of the hype, and we do it on a regular day. Once the hype is over, it's a problem, and that irritates me.
Right.
What irritates me is the tokenism. Is Black Lives Matter here? And I get the movement. I'm not discrediting Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about people using Black Lives Matter as a catchphrase, as a hashtag. It's just a slogan. Like it's not the actual meaning of Black Lives Matter. Like that. It's become something. It hasn't become that because of other people. It's become that because other people. That's what I meant to say. It's become that because other people have codified it and changed the narrative. And it's gone awry now. And my whole thing is we can't I would never let anybody grab Black to Life and take this nowhere. Like you ain't gonna take this to nothing else but what it means. And those that want to understand it in another way, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But Black to Life is gonna always stand to empower Black men to strengthen underserved neighborhoods through education and inspiration. It's going to always stand for bringing love and conscious knowledge to life. And that's what we're going to do. We are about us and we are for us. And that is that. Now, if you want to get down with that, you can. But if not, stay out the way. Stay out the way because we ain't going to bother you. Just stay out our way because we about our people, our folks. That's what we doing. We in the underserved communities. Where we gonna be at, where we came from, where a lot of us came from, and we still go back there because that's what we are, man. And just because you come from somewhere don't mean nothing. Like you can't help where your zip code was, where you was born at. You know what I'm saying? But you can't help what you do after that. Yeah. And we can help with that as our, cause man, that's us.
Hey, let me share a story real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So y'all know, or Morrica, you might not know this, but I do some real estate, right? So I'm gonna share you a story. So I had a client that actually we closed today. Black family. They're from Jamaica. They've been here only 3 years. They saved their money and now they're purchasing a home. So I was real happy to help them through the whole process or whatever. But during the process, they went to a lender before they got hooked up into me, right? So what happened was at one point the lender was going to give them some money for the down payment, right? So then they were like, okay, we saved up, let's say $20,000. We're only going to have to spend like $5,000 because this other entity is going to give us some money, right? So they was happy about that, right? So then throughout the project, you got under contract, and then at a point they were like, oh, that down payment assistance that we was going to give you, like that's not going to work. So they're like, you're going to have to, bring your own down payment. So let's just call it $10,000 more you need to bring up. So they're like, dang, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to not have no savings. You know what I'm saying? So the lender or the loan officer are going to say, well, why don't you just, maybe get somebody to borrow it from? I'm from Jamaica. Who? I'm it. Like, I ain't no rich uncle, ain't no rich auntie, ain't no grandmother to give me 10K. But he doesn't understand that. So I really looked at them like they were telling me this story like 2 or 3 days afterwards. So I was just like, I'm kind of baffled that you really think that, we just have that ability. Maybe that's your other customers, but that's not us. Like, if either I got it or I don't have anybody to call. So it's one of those things where, you can call it white privilege or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you're not in tune with all of reality for all type of people. And I was just really like dumbfounded. And it got worse after that. But that was like the first time that I was just like, wow. Like, I really wish, like, I could never, like, really, if they would have came to me first, the person that I would have hooked them with would never say that out of her mouth. It's a sister. She would never say that out of her mouth. Oh, why don't you just call your uncle? Or, don't you have a family member that can give it to you? Like, didn't I explain at the beginning of the story? I just immigrated from Jamaica. This is it.
Only in my clothes and my back and the items I have are all I have.
I ain't got what you asking. I know that. I ain't got what you asking. So with that said, and that's another part of cultural conditioning.
Right.
Like what we call white privilege is cultural conditioning because there's not a privilege or anything supreme about your color or who you are just because you're you. That don't mean that you gotta do some shit to be extraordinary. You just ain't gonna wake up and be somebody. That
Right.
ain't how that works. So let's get that out the way. It comes from a place of just like racism is ignorant.
Yeah.
Like to think you're better than somebody just because you look a certain way, that ain't based in no kind of scientific fact or any kind of algorithm, any kind of hypothesis or anything. You just made that up. So your supremacy is fraudulent. But we operate from that. We operate from that fraudulent way of life. Just think about how we think of what business dress is, what business casual is, how our hair should look on an interview. Go to even our names. Some people name their children certain names because they don't want to be profiled when they put it in a job application. Why is that a thought when you're having a precious child? The only thing you should be thinking about is, hope my child is, this is my opinion, I ain't even telling nobody else what to think about. But I think you should be thinking about, is my child healthy? And man, I'm finna love this child like I ain't never loved nothing else. But no, you gotta think about, man, I should name this child this because I could put it in a better position to get a job. Man, are you serious?
Real fast?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for
so
sure.
I'm a teacher assistant. So the summer started and we don't have work at this point because of COVID. So I applied to some jobs and it was a job I really kind of wanted, especially for what I'm going to grad school for. And I applied with two separate applications, same exact resume, but a different name. And on the box where you actually have to click on, I selected white race for one with my white name and black with my black name. And everything on my resume is the exact same. My GPA is the same. My involvement is the same. Everything the exact same. And they called me the very next day with my white name, and they emailed me 2 days later with my black one after they called me the next day. So it was like 3 days after, and it was like, we're sorry, this position has filled. And so I called them. I'm like, well, thank you for the opportunity. I don't know if you realize or not, but my number is the exact same on both the applications. You denied me on my African American one, but quickly accepted me on my Caucasian one. But I'm the same person with the same skills and qualities. But I will be starting Monday. Cool. Wow. But I don't want to work for you though, just because I've seen how you operate. But thank you for the opportunity.
Jeez.
Well, what's your white name?
Amina Miller.
Amina Miller?
Yes.
Oh man, that's funny.
So you use your regular name? You use Morrica Ashby for the
you just checked it off.
Yeah.
Oh, you just put black, and then Amina was the white.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a nice social experience. That's a nice social experience.
Wow.
If you're gonna apply to a job, apply twice with the same same resume, and just choose a different name on there and see how they accept you with a different name. If the company accepts you with your more white name or more, normal name, you shouldn't work for them.
Wow.
Yeah. And I want to touch on that. That the normal part, and I know what you were saying, but a lot of people do think our names that are from our language and from our people are not normal. But that's another thing. Like, I'm gonna go back to it. It's cultural conditioning. Like, we were made to believe that black was lesser than, and it was always that. Like, I'm gonna go to your point, as we were talking earlier. To this day, I don't know why African booty scratcher was an insult or funny.
Yeah.
And we used to say that without impunity. We just say it. Right. And now you used to just cut the whole thing off. Like, that was the worst thing you would call somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, you African booty
That
scratcher.
was punching words right there. That was punching words.
Right. But I've always thought, like, why? And forgive me, I said it to shut down a whole conversation. But why was I
where did that come from?
Yeah, where did that come from in the second and third grade to just call somebody, you African booty, after everything goes on. Yeah. Blah, blah, you an African booty scratcher. Oh.
Yeah. Then now you got to fight.
You got to fight. But where did that come from? It's cultural conditioning. Yeah. And it also come from following the crowd. You've heard it before. Somebody else said, but like you said, where does that come from?
What's the root?
Indian giver. Give something and take it back. When did they do that? They were slaughtered.
Right.
The lands were taken from them. And treaties they couldn't understand. They were forced to sign treaties after being bludgeoned.
Right.
After the whole society was wiped out. Then you get the last one, you need to sign this. And if they can't read English, they don't speak it. So how I'm gonna read something? I don't know what this is saying. So that is so fraudulent. I'm telling you, this supremacy and this privilege thing that is attributed to the white race is fraudulent. And we need to understand that, and we need to teach our kids that. Like, it's actually stupidity. Right. There is nothing supreme. There is nothing privileged about how you look. And I'm talking about anybody. But right now, we finna focus on what the problem is. Systemic racism and the system of white supremacy that puts us at the bottom of the barrel. You can talk about whatever you're gonna talk about, who else was slaves before then. I ain't gonna do with all that. I'm talking about what's going on right now, the rules that are still set up right now that are favorable to one group and cuts off everybody else. So that's what I'm talking about. I ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. and people want to take you down that path. They always want to do that when you talk about this. Well, what about this? Man, no. We ain't talking about that. We staying right where we are. I'm not finna get in that rabbit hole, man. Right. Oh, we got a comment from B2L, Rob Reynolds, man. Let's not look to the white community to be accepted. We should network and build ourselves.
That's what I definitely I think that's where it starts. I think that's where it starts. There's so much that we can do amongst ourselves first, and stop worrying about acceptance from from the outside. Let's first work on ourselves. There's a lot of work for us to do ourselves first.
Yeah.
And then they can do whatever they see. That's what we can't control. You can't control somebody else. We can control, or we can educate and uplift one another. But then their reaction, that's up to them. Whatever. They do what they do. You know what I mean?
I feel like I don't feel like on a whole we look to be accepted by the white community. I don't think we look to be accepted. I think I think as a whole we just expect to be treated as human beings. So when we step into spaces that maybe not predominantly occupied by us, let's say a living space, a common space in like a predominantly white institution, we're not common in those areas, but we still are like we're still we have the right to be anywhere we want. Let me get that first out today. We have the right to be anywhere and everywhere we want because we do. We have a right to exist. We have a right to live because it's given to us by our Creator, and that's that on that. But when we go to places where we haven't been accepted before and we haven't been seen as frequently, it causes those that are alarmed. It causes those to be alarmed, and then they use that privilege or their so-called supremacy to wield their ways or their supposed authority upon us by calling the police, by making threats, saying you don't belong here, where are you going? And that's another aspect of cultural condition. Like this whole thing is messed up. But to his point and to your point, I don't think we worried or want handouts. But like I said earlier, there's an opposite and equal to every action. There's an opposite and equal reaction. So if you have been oppressed for so long, if you have been things have been kept from you for so long, you've been restricted, then unlimited access needs to happen. You need to be uplifted, like for that amount of time. Like you just can't
get a jump start. Exactly. Jump start. It's just like the $5 thing that you said. If I take your $5 and I give it back to you, I didn't do anything.
Gave you your $5 back.
Yeah. So if I've been oppressed for so long, then let me be uplifted. Let me have the advantage for that long. And then after so many years, then it'll be an even playing field.
What you had to say, Morrica? I thought you were saying something.
Oh yeah, if you take my $5 and then you just decide you want to give it back the next day, I'm gonna need my interest with that $5 you took because it was never yours to begin with. So give me, and then go ahead and give me that you took from me and have me my time because I could have won 500 million off that $5. So or I could have flipped it or made something out of it, but you thought you could do better and you couldn't, so you brought me back what I already had and say, here you go. Could you make something out of this? And then when I finally make something out of it, you're going to want to come and take that too and then try to make it better and then bring it back, say, oh, can you fix this again? Don't look at me to be a fixer of things when in actuality, I could have fixed it from the beginning if you would have never took it.
Right.
And I also think we need, as just a people, like we need to just stop worrying about explaining ourselves, especially to people that don't come from our experience at all. Like, and I have a problem with that, and I need to and when I say explain, I mean if somebody's trying to really figure something out, they're really asking you, like, yeah, have that conversation. If they're having that conversation. But if you're if you're actually telling me that I'm wrong for how I'm feeling, and then you want me to feel some kind of way, and you're telling me I ain't having this conversation with you because what you're trying to do is change my mind.
Right.
My mind is not going to change to emasculate me or to marginalize or underestimate who I am. So we ain't gonna even talk. And I'm not gonna, and I've gone down those conversations and I'm going to stop. I'm done because
it's pointless.
The whole thing is for me to change you and you to change me. And I know you ain't gonna change me. And I don't care to change you. I really don't. But get out my way. Stay out my way and we good. That's all. But if you come on my page, if you come talking, we gonna have some conversations or we're gonna have some dealings if we need to. Other than that, stay out my way, man. I ain't worried about it. Like just stay out my way. You can have your thoughts, but your thoughts and your feelings don't make it fact.
Right.
You can have whatever you want, but just don't come with my way with it. And I think even black people that we let's get it out of the way, like the Candace Owenses of the world. Like I don't even think we should shout them down and say anything about her. Like they don't come from our experience. The Diamonds and Silks, like they don't come from our experience. Those two twin brothers, I don't know their names, but it's two twins out here that's I don't know, talking real reckless. I don't know, man. The Ben Carsons of the world, like they talk from another, and I ain't saying they don't even come, I ain't saying they don't come from the hood or the whatever they call the rough side or whatever, and that don't mean nothing. I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is their experience obviously ain't matching up with what's going on because they have a totally different outlook on what they see. So I'm not going to talk about what they and how they see it and how they want to tell us that we're victimhood, we got a victimhood mentality and all that. Man, tell that to somebody that really care what you talking about. Because what I'm not gonna do is go back and forth with you. I ain't gonna disrespect you, first of all.
What? For what?
Yeah, I'm not. And because it's gonna enrage me to have that conversation. So I'm gonna have my piece and just roll with what I roll with because I know we in the community. I know what we doing. So all I know is we gonna keep doing that and let you continue to say whatever you got to say. And we're just gonna do the work, man. That's what Black to Life is about. We about doing the work. And we got some good people, man. We just gonna keep getting more. We just need to continue to get more and get more places, man, because we're needed. Books are needed. Literacy is needed, especially in our communities, because they are targeting our communities for being illiterate. So we need to target our communities to get us on literacy levels that we need to be on. Because then we don't even have to reform the prison system. We're just not gonna be in it. It's not even be in it. And that's one aspect, still got this thing called systemic racism. School to prison pipeline, still got that. But we can fight it from within with unlearning and learning who we are. Cultural conditioning, man. Like we need to start our kids off, in my opinion, we need to start our kids off with the greatness of Africa, of who we are. We come from greatness. We've always been great. That's why, like, these billionaires, and all these firsts that happen during all these times in America, they come from good stock. That's why it was unbelievable because of the great oppression and the great task and obstacles they had to face. But we come from good shit.
Yeah.
That's why they made it like that. Like we come from good stock, like the best of the best. And the cream always rises to the top. I don't care what you do. Put some cream in something. It's coming to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much you put on top, it's coming to the top.
Right.
And we just need to pour that into ourselves and believe in ourselves more. And like my brother said, we don't have to worry about being accepted in spaces that don't value who we are.
Yeah,
like
if they do, so be it. If they don't, so be it.
Yes.
But have that within yourself and everything be all right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
Y'all drink. Piggyback back on what you were saying with people trying to change your perspective. I had a conversation with my niece's mom, who's Caucasian, and she was speaking about her Caucasian boyfriend. My nieces are biracial, but either way, she's been posting about everything that's been going on, but she's always been the type of person to really love African American people because her family for generations have been so racist and hated her having African American friends that she kind of gravitated more to actually loving African American people, and which caused her to have 2 kids by one. And so either way, her boyfriend was asking her, what do you think you can do as a white woman? Like, do you really think that you can make a change in someone's life? Like, you're up here preaching for these Black people. Like, it's something that, you know, like you want more for them than they want for themselves. And I'm like, what? Wow. And he really tried to shift her whole thought process back to what her family wanted. She was like, so you want me to raise 2 biracial little girls who have Black and to teach them to hate Black people when they like their Black family more than they like the white family, really, because they get to actually spend time with them and do family things with them, and their white family don't really want to be around them as much because
they're Black?
Yeah, because they're, it's crazy. And so I was like, well, don't let anyone try to, you know, live vicariously through you. And it stuck with me right then. Like, it seems like everybody wants to live vicariously through Black people to try to say, live like this, do that. Don't feel like this, don't feel like that. I'm gonna feel how I want to feel. I'm gonna think how I want to think. My opinions are gonna be my opinions. My emotions are gonna be my emotions. And you're not going to be able to change that unless you change how you act to get me to see you as a different person. But I'm not even trying to open my eyes to see you as any type of person other than what you show me. It's about your character. I don't really care about the color of your skin. It's really about how do you act? What's your thought process on things? What are your emotions like? How human are you? Not how Black are you, not how white are you, how human are you, to say, you know, I'm on earth with plenty of other humans and I want to all be human together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to note that, like, the reason, and we all on here agree to that, it doesn't matter, it matters the person. But the reason why Black to Life and you see all these organizations that are Black owned or that have Black people as their main focus is because just that, it's a focus. Doesn't mean it's an exclusion. Right now, there needs to be a focus, and the most people, the most important people that need to focus is we need to maintain a focus, and the focus we need to maintain on is first of all learning who we are. I'm telling you, man, you would treat your brother, man, and your fellow sister so much better if you knew the brother was the king of the world and the Black woman was the creator of all, the mother of everything. If you could think of a Black woman as that, like, game over. Game over, man. Do you see, and there's a Black woman on here, and I want you to talk about it. Do you see how hard Black women go for us now? If you think about if we could take that ease and that pressure off their mind to where they know, like, man, these brothers is gonna take care of me no matter what. They just ain't got to be attracted to me. They really just gonna take care of me. Ain't no harm gonna come to me. Man, these sisters would run. They already running through, but it would just be something that we have never ever like could imagine, because it would be just, and they do it anyway. But could you imagine if we would just prop them up to where they didn't have to worry about no back, no nothing? Like, if they knew they could just go full force and be like, man, my brother's got me good.
Yeah, the brother got to take the first step on that. Like,
yeah,
brothers gotta like step it up on their own even before they come to that sister. They need to step it up, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what would you? We have a Black woman on here, so take it away.
I agree. It takes more from just one male to say, you know, I got her back or got their back as Black women. It's hard for me just to say that we wouldn't go hard, because as a Black woman, we feel we already have to just go hard anyways, because being a working, we feel like we bring children into the world. So we feel like we have to be the protector, although we see a man as a protector, but we're still the sole protector too of our husbands, our, you know, children and stuff. And I feel like if Black men supported Black women a lot more and pushed us and looked at us as Black queens instead of just Black women, Black girls, you know, and other names that they call us that may or may not be inappropriate, we probably would the world, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. I wish Michelle Obama would be president. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if she was president, a lot would be so much different. She would give little Black girls hope, you know. But just her doing whatever she's done so far, and plenty of other African American women, they've empowered little Black girls. I love Ava DuVernay. I'm 24 now, and she's my idol. I don't know. It's just something about the lady and the way she just goes after pushing the issue of education, educating Black people, and making a difference. It just warms my heart, and I want to be like that lady. I swear I do. Give me about 5 years, I'm gonna get there.
Cool.
Believe me. Believe me. It just takes a spark, and from that spark, a fire to start, and after the fire, it'll be a wildfire. And I feel like it just needs to be a ripple effect of support on both ends, not just Black women with Black men, but Black men with Black women as a collective effort to move forward into progress.
Yeah.
Thank you for that perspective, because I know just to be fully transparent, I haven't always been the best when it comes to my relationships with Black women, with my romantic relationships, let me put it like that. And I haven't been the best, but as a friend, as you know, cousin, family member, whatever, been pretty solid. But like that doesn't matter. As like I said, in my romantic endeavors, I haven't been the best, and I stand on that. And I'm better. Huh?
That's the first step to.
Yeah, I'm better now, man. Like I definitely don't do what I used to do. And never should have in the first place. But still, I would never ever like not be a protector of a Black woman. Like when I say a protector, I'm saying I'm going. There will never be a time where it would just be like. I feel like if women's around me, they don't feel in danger. Like even though we went through, and like I said, all that was personal spats. It's just, me being me, doing what I'm doing. But none of women, I think I can say, have ever felt in danger with me. So hopefully they didn't, and I haven't experienced. And I take pride in that, because I really want to, as our sisters, as y'all are our sisters and our backbone, man. We need to prop you up, because you are the first teacher, the first nurturer, the first everything to us. Even as we were children, to our children, like your mother, the woman is actually connected to the child. Like as a father, yeah, you got a connection. The mother was actually connected to the child. And cutting the umbilical cord don't stop that. Like I can never imagine what it would be like, somebody growing inside of me and then coming out and then living off of me some more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing. That's amazing to me. Like women, when babies cry, women start lactating in their breasts. Think about that. A baby cries and a woman starts lactating.
Like, let me feed this baby.
Where does that come from? That's a connection. That's energy, man.
Yeah.
A noise makes me start to feel, and that's just an experience from my child's mother. Like from her, telling me these things. Like I didn't know that happened for real. Like until she told me. But to me, that's amazing, man. It's like when my baby cries, it's like, hey, I just want to be quiet, but you feel something physical, like, yeah, I need to do something about this. Like,
when babies first born, they have an hour skin to skin with the mother or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that.
It represents a time for the baby to be able to smell the milk inside of the breast and to be able to, find its way there. And just that connection alone is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And breast milk, like women breastfeed their babies, and if the baby is sick, the body of the woman automatically produces different type of milk to go with whatever sickness the baby has.
Right, right. And that's why it's important to breastfeed. I mean, I'm not no doctor, but like those things that you're talking about right there. But then, what education? And you see this a lot in the hospital. You might not know too much, Morrica. You don't have any kids, correct?
Correct.
But you'll see them push like formula on a black woman. It happened to my wife.
Yep.
Happened to my
Speak on
wife.
it, sir.
I stepped out to get some Chick-fil-A, and it didn't take them long to try to do this. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
It's serious out there. So you definitely gotta, and that's why collectively I feel more comfortable going to a black doctor, having a black nurse, things of that nature, having a doula if you need them. Like, you need these things as a black woman. You're under attack when you go into the medical for any type of procedure, or you giving birth, anything like that. This is a very important. You need advocates for yourself, and you need people that look like you, who have your best interests at heart. Just because they, got doctor or RN or whatever, that don't mean they looking out.
I saw a meme that says what police officers do to black men, doctors do to black women.
There you go.
They minimize our pain and stuff. I got
Right.
the top of my finger
Really?
chopped off by a door at school, and blood was spurting out of my hand 3 feet. And so I was, panicking, and it still hurt. Like I had nerves, like all my nerves on the inside part right here were
That finger right there?
this one right here, yeah. It was
It got cut off?
Yeah, the whole top part got cut off by a door at school.
Oh,
So either way, I had got my plastic surgeon got us together. Yeah. But either way, they were like, she's not in that much pain. Take medicine. I'm like, I had got my finger hurt at school, got to the hospital, and my finger was still squirting out blood 20 minutes later. So for about 30 to 45 minutes, my finger was squirting out blood like scary type. And I'm like, you don't think it hurts at all? Let me chop your finger off. Like, I was getting irritated. And it was like, let's just give her a sedative. I don't even take medicine. You're not giving me any medicine. When you put the stitches in, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to take it. But no, I'm telling you it's hurting, but you want to give me a sedative to sedate me because I'm getting aggravated with you telling me I'm not in pain. At this point, I'm going to show you, no, you know what? I'll take the pain, but you're not going to gain the satisfaction of making me feel like I didn't have pain to begin with,
Yeah, black women really gotta watch out for that. Really gotta watch out for
about having babies. They charge black women extra $10,000 on top of the $75,000 fee to keep the umbilical cord attached to their baby, because black women will say, for instance, something is wrong with the baby when it's born. Say, for instance, you have a African American female, African American male, Caucasian female, Caucasian male, Hispanic female, Hispanic male, and all of them are addict babies. Between, you can do heroin or crack cocaine, and the only one that is scientifically proven to survive is the African American female baby girl, because she's the only one strong enough to survive. The two whites, male and female, both will be dead within the first 3 to 12 hours. The Hispanic children, they'll live a day or 7 days. The African American male will live between 3 days and 8 days, but the African American female will live a whole lifespan.
Crazy.
Crazy. And it's crazy that they just don't let the baby stay attached to the umbilical cord so they don't have to get all the vaccinations. But pharma wants so much money, and it's like they're almost punishing you for something naturally. If you have your baby at home and don't contact the hospital or authorities and say, oh, I'm giving birth to your baby, you get penalized. After you go have your baby, or take your baby to go get checked up, you go to jail for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot for real?
In certain states, yeah.
I believe
That's one.
Neglect and whatever else they call it to make it.
They'll pile it on. They'll damn near make it murder. Shoot.
Yeah. Crazy.
So why? So the question is, I mean, we know why, so that ain't even the question. It ain't even why. It's like AJ said. I've done my dentist is a black woman. My My primary care physician is a Black woman. My eye doctor is a Black woman. Like I go, and the reason why I did all that, like Black women, is who take better care of you? Like, I ain't never been. I'm yeah. In all my dealings in life, like no one has taken care of me like a Black woman. Whether it's my mom, sisters, my significant other, cousins, aunties, whatever, man. Like, don't nobody take care of you. Like, to me, in my experience in life as a Black woman. So, why am I not gonna get that in my primary care doctors, my eye doctor, like somebody? And I've had different doctors, so I've had the gamut, had white, Black, Hispanic, whatever, Indian also, and I don't know, man. It was just it's more like, and I can't explain it no other way than say it's more just like a mama, man, talking to you. Are you asking questions and they breaking it down, and they get a little comfortable with you and they say a little, like, well, you know better than that. Something like they always say it, but it's like I understand and I know where it's coming from because I was raised by a Black woman, so I know exactly where that love and understanding is coming from. I can appreciate that, man. So that's why I actually go every job I've had since I started getting real insurance in about 2007. I seek I seek a Black woman for all my medical needs because hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's a good framework to start with. But you're going to stick with that professional because they're good at what they do, right? So that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And once Black people start understanding that, look, you can give your fellow Black man a chance or Black woman a chance, but once they prove that, then you're going to stay. But sometimes we don't afford each other that acknowledgement, that chance for whatever reason. That's cultural conditioning that makes you think like, oh, the Black doctor is going to be less than the white doctor or the Asian doctor or whatever. So that's cultural conditioning that we have to work on ourselves,
Exactly. That's something, like I said, I make it a point to do that because I believe in the sisters, man. I've always believed that a Black woman has to, it's always Black men have to be 100 times better, this time better. And I think the Black woman got to do that in some exponential numbers. So a Black woman get it, she got it. And I've always thought that, man. And that's just the way it was. So I've always looked for that. And I think that we need to push that in our children. Like, and ain't nothing wrong with, if they wanted to, if other people want to choose other things, but we just need to push a pride and a belief in us because pride and belief in us was stricken. It was restricted. It was taken. It was made to be shameful. So right now, and before right now, should have been yesterday. Like we have to really be in these youngsters' heads, in our own heads. Like we are good enough. We good. Like Black is beautiful. Black is brilliant. Black is everything. Like don't explain that to nobody but yourself. You don't have to explain your existence. You deserve to be here. We deserve to be here. And that's the mindset you have to have. 'Cause when you walk around like that, when you walk around without having to think that you got to explain something to somebody, that you got to be, you got to wait for somebody else before you speak, like you have a totally different swag about yourself. And you're going to start acting different. You're going to start doing different. You're going to accept different shit. Like you ain't going to just take nothing. So that's what we need to be. It ain't too late for nobody, but some people just too far gone and won't do it. I don't think we need to give up on that, but I really think we need to pour into these kids, and that's what Black to Life is doing. Like I've heard people they've asked me like, why black men, why that? And it's like, man, if you don't understand what that acronym means, bringing love and conscious knowledge to life. You can't understand that we empowering Black men to strengthen underserved neighborhoods through education and inspiration. to hell with you. Seriously, I'm not gonna explain that. Like, I want my community to be taken care of by my community.
Right.
If I can be a positive influence inside of my community and empower at least one person in there, then that means there's two people in the community still reaching to try to empower the rest of those people. And so for me, going in and reaching one person, and it's two of us the next time, and say both of us get another person,
Right.
it's a ripple effect of empowerment. And by the end, the whole community will be empowered to be a better place. Everybody be working together to do better things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's very like, that's where it really started. I had 2 clients for real estate in the last like 2 weeks specifically say that we came to you because you're Black. And I was like, really? I was like, that's cool. And this is all around the George Floyd time. So I'm telling you that there's a paradigm shift going on right now where people are thinking, hey, I gotta start reaching out to those that look like me. They're gonna understand me and be able to service me better. People are waking up, man. People are waking up.
I just don't want it to get to the point where
They go back to sleep.
Blacks only, really support Blacks and whites only support whites, and then it becomes a great divide once again, and it's like a war against who can be the better race, the Black people or the white people, who can rise up better, the Black people or the white people, and white people don't come to Black establishments and Black people don't go there. I don't want it to be a divide again, and that's kind of what I think, but may not be necessarily true.
I don't know if it's going to sway all the way there, but I just hope that people would, when they have a decision of a vendor or service, that they give the Black person a fair shake, a fair look, a fair chance to actually, prove themselves. And I'm not telling people to actually stick with somebody who isn't good at what they do. I'm just saying, if you are going to, take 3 bids, right, then make sure that if there's a brother, find a brother and see what they can do for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm really saying.
It's really about your quality.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it depends on what it is. I think also as Black people, like, sometimes we got to understand this thing when it comes to business. Some people are just so bottom line. Like, if this thing costs $5 and I can get it on sale over here for $4, and I just am. Well, I think first off, like, you don't always have to think like that. What are you going to do with that extra dollar? Number one. So I'm at the point in my life where if it's a Black establishment and it's $5, that's what it's supposed to cost. I'm willing to pay $5. I'm actually probably willing to pay $6, because I know if I actually help this business long enough, then guess what? The price is going to be. It's going to come down to $5. It's going to come down to $4. So you got to understand why the other establishment is at $4, because maybe their stuff is in Walmart or whatever the case is. So we gotta sometimes you gotta you just gotta be willing to do that extra, spend that extra dollar or give that extra chance. Depends on what it is. I'm not saying it's not every time you're going to do something like that, but a lot of times if you give somebody a chance, they're going to probably surprise you with their excellence, in my opinion.
Like, I go get my nails and toes done sometimes, really kind of often, but I love Maylene. She always does a really good job. Like, I don't want to really go to no one else but her. But with coronavirus, stuff was closed. And so I tried one of my Black friends out who's been doing nails and stuff lately. So I'm like, okay, well, let's try. And she was selling these little ankle bracelets with, getting your toes done and stuff. So I brought the little ankle bracelet. It was $5. I go to Amazon. It's a pack of 20, the same pack she got, for like $10. And it's 20 of them in there. You paid $10 off of 2 ankle bracelets. You already got all your money back. And I'm like, this is a get over. I went on Amazon and got me the whole 30 pack for $12. So it's like, I'm not gonna let you get your 120 off of me, sis. I can't. I'll come get my nails done, but I'm not gonna get no ankle bracelet for $5 when it's really only 40 cents per ankle bracelet. No.
That's funny. No. That's funny.
And that's another thing. Sometimes Black people want the discounts, and it's like, how you want a discount? I'm just starting. I'm in debt trying to start up from what I'm got going right now. Right. Like, what discount you want?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can't expect that. We expect quality. You gotta pay for quality, and hey, sometimes you gotta pay a little more for quality. Just because it's a brown face don't mean it should be underestimated or marginalized. That service will as well be top notch, and I probably exceed your expectations. So
Hey, let me ask you a question. You ever got like a $20 haircut or a $30 haircut?
all the time.
So,
That's what it is now. That's how much it is.
but what if somebody was charging like $70 a haircut?
I'm like,
Like,
what type of haircut is that, bro?
you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's people that charge super amount, like really, really steep prices because of, I guess, I don't know who they are. They feel like their quality is just that worth it because they have their barber license.
Maybe. I wish you the best, bro.
Yeah,
It depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Like I said, like if it's a $5 thing, maybe I give you that extra dollar, maybe to try it. But you talking double, triple? Nah, bro. I don't know about that.
I don't hang out in those places.
You gotta prove it to me that that's worth that.
I don't hang out in a place where you pay $70 for a haircut. I don't know where that is.
Me neither.
But I used to pay $5 for a
do my
haircut.
own, bro.
Were you 12 years old when you got your haircut though? You know, the age go up after you turn 12 or 13. You hit 13, the age go up to like $15 instead of 10. So how long were you 12 after you really was 12?
Don Jelani?
Both of y'all.
Oh. What you say? Say it again.
At your barbershop, whenever you grew up or whatever, was it a cutoff age from the child price to the adult price?
It was like 12 and under, I believe.
Yeah, 12 and under. Yeah. So how long were you 12 after you was 12? Like you went selling the barber, you 12 still, like 2-3 years later, still trying to get that $10 haircut.
Nah, you got peach fuzz and all this talking about you 12. Come on, bro.
You usually know your barber usually know who you are. So it's right. Like
what grade you in, boy? You can't be lying.
Damn, you still in that grade? Well, that means your age still up.
Shoot, after a while, they'd be like, man, your head too big for no kid cut.
Yeah. So, you can charge $15 just
right.
for a big ass.
Right.
So, man, that was my first job in the barbershop sweeping hair. So I used to get my haircuts free, man. But I had to wait all day though, getting $5 an hour, sweeping hair, man. Yeah. 8 hours a day, man. So it was only Saturday. I got like $40 every Saturday. But man, in high school, $40 in the 90s, man, I was straight.
Yeah.
All I had to do was put gas in the car when I was going places. We ate at Wendy's and shit like that. 99 cents, everything.
You ate it when they had the yellow wrappers?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
I didn't hear you. Who?
Remember when Wendy's had the yellow wrappers?
Junior yellow
burger? What?
Real OG status.
I know about
the
that.
fries used to be yellow. The yellow box fries.
Yeah. They need to go back to that. They need to go back to that.
They're gonna listen to this and go back watch.
Yeah.
When you owe us.
Man, y'all, I got to get up out of here. I ain't lying. I'm hurting. I'm tired, bro. It's been a long day.
I drink to your long day.
Yeah.
Everything.
you do drink to everything.
You got some white tea. You take a drink to that too, Jelani. Shout out to the black dentist that you go see.
Shout out.
Yo, this has been a good talk. It's been a good talk. Next week, I definitely want to get back on the Financial Friday. I got a couple things I need to share. It's been like a 2-week hiatus by next week, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to have a good one set up and see if I get a couple a guest or two. But appreciate the platform today, Jelani. Appreciate it. Right, this has been good.
Appreciate you for joining. Hey, somebody just let's one more question before everybody get out.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked the question: what does Juneteenth mean to you? Anybody want to start, or y'all want me to go first? What y'all want to do?
Go ahead, Maria.
Me go first. It's just a reminder that not only African Americans want to be free, but other people wanted us to be free too, and they wanted to push the issue and show other people, I'm gonna say white people, that the whole idea and narrative of slavery was not okay. And although the Emancipation Proclamation was issued 2 years prior to Juneteenth, it was like people were still keeping free slaves enslaved. And it's just another opportunity to say, you know, I'm breaking free. Every year is a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity to break free and to celebrate our freedom in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take a similar sentiment that it's a notion or a symbol of freedom, or being let out of a box, like an invisible box almost, right? So that's what it kind of means to me, is an expression of freedom that which might not in actuality be 100% real, but for those slaves back then, like thinking that you had that limitation, but not really having that limitation. So that's what I get out of Juneteenth, that if you think that you're limited as a Black person, well, this is a day to note to notice that you aren't, that you ought to be free, that you ought to spread your wings, that you ought to try new things, that you ought to try to grow, that you ought to, be free, be fruitful, that sort of thing.
Yeah, to me, Juneteenth is a day of of freedom.
Yeah.
It's a day that we celebrate that our ancestors were alerted of their access to freedom, because they were already free. They just didn't have access to it.
They didn't
So
know
they were
that.
alerted. They were alerted of their final access to freedom. And from what I've heard and what I've studied, the jubilation, the celebrations that happened after that, like all throughout the state, was just wonderful. So I can only, and when I say only imagine, I mean like the smallest smidgen of my imagination, to be entrenched in so much pain and agony and to realize it's over. Even though they threw in the black codes right after that and started just throwing us in jail and started just messing us over, even though Reconstruction came through and helped up some blacks, but they still was instituting just ways to just keep us down. You still had, man, what I was experiencing is over. You didn't know what was next, but all you knew what was behind you. And to me, it's just a realization of now we know what's in front of us because we control our own destiny, and we don't have to rely on anyone else. So Juneteenth to me is just a realization of actual freedom. And I think that first freedom is the liberation of the mind. The liberation of the mind and the body will follow. I think that what Juneteenth should be all about, the liberation of our minds, because, you know, certain people think that they brought Juneteenth to relevance and that we just now hearing about it. So you can let them believe that all they want to. You know what I'm saying? We've known, people that we know have known. America has known about Juneteenth. It's been celebrated all over the nation, all over the world. It's just not commercialized. And I'm worried about it being commercialized by the wrong people, by white America. And when it gets commercialized, it's gonna turn into, to me, it's gonna turn into the I Have a Dream.
A picnic.
Like they codified the I Have a Dream speech to basically like to put the onus on us when Martin Luther King really was speaking about his children being able to hold hands with other children. He wasn't talking about us being accepted. He was talking about white America, America being accepted. So I just don't want Juneteenth to be lost in that. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be always for us. Uh, yeah, I, I I don't care about it not nationally being recognized. Like I like it how it is because I feel like it's gonna be a money grab if it gets to that, and I feel like the wrong people are gonna benefit off of it. The people that don't care nothing about it but to just get some money off of it. I want to keep it Juneteenth authentic. I want to keep it between us, and I want to keep it for our people and our communities because it actually means something. It's not about money. It's not about just hanging out. It means something. This means the start of us. like the start, when they actually, granted us humanity, the humanity, like I said, they took that they never had any right to take. So yeah, Juneteenth marks that to me, and I'm gonna celebrate that for my ancestors that celebrated when they just was like, man,
But
thank
even
God.
General Granger issued the third order about freeing the slaves in Texas, he still recommended that they stay at their slave master's house and abide by their rules and stuff like that, and to not be in the presence of white people. So it was a relief, but also it was a sense of, did you free me or did you semi-free me? You know, like
That's why they say the freest. But to me, Juneteenth was the start. That day, June 19, 1865. We June 19, 2020. It ain't 1865. So whatever it is, it's on us. That's what it is, and I'm about it because to your point, we had people sitting like, okay, are we? I know I'm free.
I'm free, but I'm not supposed to leave my master house. But who ain't
Exactly. I ain't got that. I ain't got that on me. I ain't got that on me. I ain't got that on me, and I'm not gonna put that in my kids. I'm not gonna put that in my people. But I'm just gonna keep working within our communities, working to get them stronger, and hopefully we get more people on the Black to Life team, man. So that's it, y'all. Man, we want to thank everybody for this was an impromptu little meeting, so we want to thank everybody. We just want to talk about what Juneteenth meant to us. We want to talk about the Black liberation of the liberation of all Black people. Let me tell you something. It all starts in the mind. It all starts in the mind with conscious thoughts and being aware of your surroundings and aware of just what's going on.
freedom
Don't
mind.
want, yeah. Don't. You need to live life and don't let life live you. Remember that, man. So we finna be out.
All right. Good night.
Thank you all.
Amadi,
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Happy Juneteenth. We throwing up 2 fists. I'm gonna take one more shot.
Well, my water empty, but I got you. Cheers. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Out. All right, man. Y'all take it light.